SUI is the only competitor for Solana. And after the announcement of the Gasless Stablecoins, SUI has decided to go full nuclear mode in its fight to basically take on Solana. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In this video today, I'm going to talk about SUI versus Solana. I'm going to talk about the most important update or protocol change on the SUI network this month. And of course, this is the TPS performance between SUI and Solana. We know SUI is lightning fast, but for Solana to compete, I think it's going to be, or for SUI to compete, I think it's going to need to attract a lot more users. However, this is the only battle worth monitoring for SUI in the long term. So welcome back to the channel, guys. Before I do that and talk about this announcement here from Mr. Labs and how it potentially puts SUI back on the map, I'd like to pay a personal tribute to the founder of Ondo Finance, Nathan Allman, who sadly passed away at the young age of 32. I mean, this guy has obviously, passed away and credit to him. He has created a protocol that really has redefined RWAs, even though critics will argue that the governance token doesn't really translate into a protocol level, growth. Having said that, young boy, 32 years old, has achieved so much in his young life. That should make every single person here watching this video never to take life for granted, because we can achieve things, we can do things. We should live life like we are leaving tomorrow. So rest in peace, Nathan Allman. I don't know him personally, but, to his family, to the Ondo team, to everybody else who has any connection with this guy. But the greater lesson here is it doesn't matter how sick you are or, what challenges you have in life. You live your best. I'm sure he probably had some kind of an illness, but he has done what he could to make his footprint in this world. So rest in peace and tribute to Nathan Allman. Now let's talk about what we came to talk about here, SUI. So first of all, I'm going to give the new generation or the new cycle entrance what really SUI is, right? I'm going to give you an introduction and then we'll talk about the gasless fees. So back in 2023, former 5 executives of Facebook, Facebook had at the time a project called, I think it was Libra and or DM. And basically the regulators came in and said, you can't do it. But 5 executives went on to make Mr. Labs, and they formed this ultra fast, incredibly scalable layer 1. And since 2023, I mean, accounts grew from 500,000 accounts in 2023. These are active wallets to about 44 to 45 million. So they have achieved a lot in terms of the protocol and the speed. What I love about this is when I send money to people using SUI or use the SUI native token, it gets there incredibly fast. Sometimes I don't even blink before it gets there. However, there has been problems. In terms of inflation, the network has been absorbing that well. There's been few minor incidents in terms of hacks. Not SUI hacks directly, but network outage and protocol hacks. But SUI has been one of those key projects in the cryptocurrency market. So what is gasless and transactions or stable coins? And is this the marketing gimmick, or is this something really, really beneficial in the long term? In my opinion, SUI has always been a 5 to 10 year project for me. The SUI kind of investors in the early days will be looked back on by the crypto community as the early movers into things like Solana or Ethereum, right? Makes no difference. At the moment, it sits at $1. Of course, we're not here to talk about the technical price levels. We can look at that in another video, but it is absolutely vital to understand what this impact is going to be. So there are 3 areas where SUI is trying to beat the market. 1, treasury management simplified. So what the impact is, this allows autonomous agents to be able to trade on the SUI platform. So it's not just saving cost, right? You know, oh, it's zero fee. They are removing a well-known friction for AI agents. Two, so that becomes a frictionless onboarding. You can manage the treasury. And of course, number three, true micro payments. So this is where the war is right now. They are getting ready for agentic commerce. The battle with Solana is not just about the speed. I showed you that graphic earlier, and it was more about Solana, you know, 65,000 transaction versus 297,000 or something like that. So it's incredibly fast, but obviously Solana is the OG, and Solana is that target for the SUI token. While Solana's fees are fractions of a cent, users hit the gas hurdle, and that is what they're trying to. That's what they're trying to remove. Ultimately, okay. Furthermore, they've announced a native stablecoins and, of course, native protocol level private transactions, which will be on Mainnet in 2026. So that's going to be a layer one showdown, whether people like it or not. Right now, it's all about which one attracts more. But they do have additional advantages such as ZK logins, something that, of course, is going to be quite important. And in terms of the platform, what you have is, of course, you know, the SUI stack. You've got the ZK logins and the passkey. These are all designed to be friendly towards a larger retail audience. Of course, SUI also has solutions in AI, DeFi, gaming, payments, and of course, stablecoins, as we talked about. So the Solana battle is here. Literally, there are three things or three areas that this announcement targets, okay? So that's the impact on the L1 scene. So ultimately, when deploying autonomous AI agents for financial research or automated trading, like routing trades via the Model Context Protocol, or MCP, for those of you who use Claude, the agents objectively seek a path or the path of least resistance to the lowest cost. And that's where the battle is, guys, right? These guys are battling for agentic micropayments. So the headline says SUI launches a massive stable, you know, gasless stablecoins, but under the hood, what that really means is that they are getting ready for agentic commerce. All right. So this is a massive move, because if you can allow AI agents to be faster, smarter, I'm sure everybody will be using AI agents at some point. This is where the first shots have been fired. And I do believe with SUI's ultra high speed capabilities, I do believe that this 200, I think it's 200 millisecond finality, something ridiculous. Anyway, that's going to be the key. Of course, there are risks, and the risks are, you know, quite plain. But if you look at the token terminals metrics, the fully diluted versus the developer activity, what you're likely to see right now is the developer activity is quite quiet. And when it's at the top of the market, you see a lot of core developers into the protocol. But recently it did spike, despite the fact that the market was down back in April. These are relatively decent numbers. So of course, right now it's fairly quiet. It's around $1, which is the psychological level. I expect this level to hold. If it breaks, we've got some decent levels to buy below. So let me know what you think of this update. Of course, is SUI one of the tokens you're watching? And of course, you know, send your condolences to the Ondo team. And yeah, hopefully we catch each other on the next video. Take care.